madness that you can go and just buy a puppy and nobody's checked what your garden's like and or like what your routine is like. I think that's where putting it into the charities for them to make the decision what the right dog is for you. Our wedding did get cancelled. We were supposed to get married in Italy, so we had all of that to deal with.
Abbie and Ruby over there, welcome to the Dog Mom podcast. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. We're very excited to be here.
I'm really excited to have you. And I have seen parts of your story, but I want to hear it all about you and Ruby and how she's come into your life. And I'm very, very excited to dive deep into this.
Good.
So tell me a little bit about you, firstly.
Oh my goodness. I mean, what would you like to know?
So where are you based? What do you do?
Okay, so I am a broadcaster. I have been a presenter. I've worked in the media industry for about 10 years. I'm originally from Lincolnshire, which is a very rural county on the east coast of England. Not a lot of media goes on. To be honest, not a lot goes on in Lincolnshire. It's quite a sleepy town. It's quite a sleepy county where a lot of people will kind of go to retire. Or it was a great place to grow up. It was very rural. We had a lot of space. But it's not very well known as being a kind of media hub. So when I first realised that I wanted to work in the media industry, I was a lot of the time getting on a train and going to London or going to Manchester, where we've got Media City, a really big hub. I actually did start my media career in Lincolnshire at the local radio station there, BBC Radio Lincolnshire. And then I worked for Motus TV on Sky, which was totally niche, covering British Rally Championships. So kind of started in a little bit of sport. Went to Manchester to work for BBC Sport, and then this job came up as a weather presenter based in Leeds, but it was covering a huge chunk of Northern England, everywhere from Cumbria to, as far south Lincolnshire as the kind of border into Norfolk. So a huge part of the north. And even though I didn't have any training, I wasn't a meteorologist, I applied for the job and got it about 9 years ago and got all of my training on the job. So have been a full-time BBC weather presenter for about 8 years. And then last year, just decided to go for a whole new change to my life, a whole new kind of experience, if you like. And I've moved into more of a freelance space where I still do the weather for the BBC, which is just the dream. I absolutely love doing that. But I was doing shift work for 8 years of getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and working really long and sociable hours. And I just thought I kind of needed to shake it up a little bit. I needed a change. So I've launched my own podcast, which is great. I love this kind of like the space and the time, I think, to sit down and meet people and to really get to know people is a part of the industry that I really wanted and that I haven't actually managed to do a lot of because it's been these go, weather forecast, live here, live there. It's so fast paced. And I've loved that. There's been so much great live TV and radio that I've been involved with in the last few years. But I just feel like now I'm kind of taking a breath and taking it all in. And it's been a really, really fun kind of 10 months or so far of being freelance, where I've got the chance to work for BBC Morning Live and I've hosted events and I get the chance to do things like this. And yeah, there's just a lot more variety and thankfully a lot fewer 3 a.m. alarms.
So this is going to be a long convo because we both can talk a lot.
Good, yeah, 100%. Buckle up, guys.
For sure. So tell me, how did Ruby come into your life? Let's go on to the main event.
Yeah.
The star of the show.
The star of the show. The star of my absolute world, to be honest. So I grew up with a dog. I had a little Shih Tzu called Teddy and I had always been obsessed with getting a dog. I've loved animals my whole life. I probably think that if I didn't go into media, I would have gone into something to do with animals. I remember, I used to ask my parents all the time, can we get a dog? Can we get a dog? And whenever we'd get in the car as a family, my dad would, my sister and I would say, where are we going? And my dad would always say, we're going to see a man about a dog. And it became this kind of running joke. And I thought, I'm going to see a man about a dog. And then one day I got in the car with my dad when I was about, maybe 11 or 12. And he said, we're going to see a man about a dog. And we actually were. We went to pick up this puppy and it was a complete surprise. It was amazing.
How many years was the joke running about the man about a dog?
I mean, I would say until I was 12, until the day it actually happened to go and get the dog. So yeah, we had this crazy little Shih Tzu called Teddy who was totally bonkers and not very well trained and just spoilt rotten. And he was such a character. But I absolutely loved him so much. And then when I left home, he was still part of the family. But I found that I really missed not having a dog, getting you out. I moved to Leeds by myself initially. So it can be a very lonely place. When you first move somewhere new, you don't know anybody. Also, I was working these bonkers shifts. Yeah. So it's not like I was down the pub. Hours. It's very unsociable. So I actually started volunteering. There's a website called Borrow My Doggy. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Where you can just essentially list yourself as somebody that loves dogs, that really would love to spend time with other people's dogs and walk dogs, but can't for whatever reason have a dog of your own. So I did that for a few years and built up this great relationship with a French Bulldog called Stella, who I used to borrow. And she would come to my house, or I would pick her up after work when her parents were out working. And she was just the funniest little character. That was my first experience of a French Bulldog. And after having her for a couple of years, my now husband moved in with me. He sort of experienced her a little bit. And then we moved house into a slightly bigger house, which meant it would have made a little bit more sense maybe for us to get a dog. And our neighbours had 2 rescue chihuahuas. And that kind of opened my eyes up for the first time ever, really, to rescuing. It's not something I'd ever considered. I think in my mind, I had always thought a rescue dog is going to be really problematic. They're going to be really difficult. You need to be a certain type of person to be able to rescue a dog. And I had seen how it had been so wonderful for them. And not only had they rescued dogs, but they'd also rescued older dogs. So they had rescued these 2 chihuahuas when they were 7. And we just fell head over heels for these dogs. They were so special. So then my husband and I were kind of talking, do we, don't we? And we said, realistically, if we were going to, we would rescue. So then we started to put the feelers out. You know, we went to the Dogs Trust and put our names down, found a few different charities. And before you know it, like, things just started to happen.
Start moving.
Yeah. Oh, should we come and do a home check at your house? Oh, okay then, you know.
Yeah.
It was definitely me pushing for it more than my husband. I think he was a bit reluctant because of the commitment. But yeah, before we knew it, we were having home checks and we were getting dogs suggested to us. And I actually registered at a charity called Floof, which is a French Bulldog rescue. It stands for the love of our Frenchies, because I had fallen so much in love with Stella and just loved French Bulldogs so much. And what's lovely about Floof is that they don't let you pick a dog. They tell you, they find out everything about you. They know what our working patterns are. They know what our lifestyle is. They know what we would prefer. And we did say that we would perhaps prefer a younger dog. However, they then messaged us and said, we have this 7-year-old French Bulldog, female. We think that she's going to be perfect for you. So I ran through to my husband and he was, you know, rolling his eyes. But the thing is with a rescue, it's now or never. Like this,
absolutely,
dogs don't hang around. They need rescuing from a situation.
Yeah.
So what do we do? What do we do? And this was early February 2020. Little did we know, A, how our life was going to change with the dog.
Right.
But B, obviously we were about to go into the global pandemic.
Was about to change.
We had no clue that was going to happen. We were also getting married. We were supposed to be getting married that year in Italy. We had a big year's worth of travel plans. So again, my husband was going, what about this? What about that? And I was going, oh, well, we'll just figure it out. We'll figure it out. You know, we'll make it work. So we went, you go into a 2-week or maybe 3-4 week, I can't remember, foster period first, just to make sure that there's no teething problems and, you know, make sure that you're right for each other. We drove to, I think it was somewhere in Milton Keynes. I can't really remember now. And just walked through the door and this little bundle of joy, Ruby, ran straight up to me. I sat down and she just put her little bottom on my knee and I nearly burst into tears. She was just perfect from day one.
Yeah.
She was kind and gentle and easygoing and relaxed and she just wanted to be loved. And I cannot believe we were so fortunate to be paired with her. And then also go into lockdown where we just had the most special time to bond with her. And we didn't have any travel plans that year at all, you know.
Well, no one did.
Exactly. Could not have, and everybody was getting dogs as well. Everybody was getting puppies and it was a little bit kind of...
But your motivation was completely pure.
So pure. Such a happy accident that it's coincided with the pandemic, really. Because we just ended up having like really the best part of 2 years at home with her, settling her in, learning about each other. Also, what a wonderful time to be encouraged to go on a walk and all those things. So that was probably the longest answer that you didn't want.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, like a little angel, just
honestly
sat on your lap, and then
definitely
the world locked down, and then you've got Ruby.
And the irony was as well that my husband used to work away a lot. He still does, but works so maybe 2 nights a week, 3 full days. And like I say, it can be quite lonely doing the shifts. Then all of a sudden to be completely by yourself when you're married and you're used to, at the time we weren't married, but we were living together. But I was spending a lot of time alone and said, a companion would be so wonderful. And that was one of the main motivations for getting Ruby as well. But then obviously we were all in the house together. But it was a really, really special time. And I look back at it so fondly because of her, but also, it was just a crazy time.
Yeah, the timing, like divine intervention at that point.
And it was a difficult year. Obviously, there was also a lot going on. Our wedding did get cancelled. We were supposed to get married in Italy, so we had all of that to deal with. Just to have this little bundle of joy who was so happy and so excited, and so, you could just tell that she was so thrilled to be with us. So how could we ever feel sorry for ourselves when she was just there, this little, like you say, this little angel sent from heaven?
I would like to know, so what background was Ruby coming from?
So we don't know loads. We think from what the charity told us that we are her third home. So she had been rehomed twice before, which blows my mind. We think she had been used for breeding. Her body very much indicates that. All the vets that have looked over her say that's what it indicates. I mean, she is, I think anyway, the prettiest French Bulldog I have ever seen. So
I agree.
And she is trumping.
She's a good looking girl.
She's so pretty.
She's pretty.
And like I say, I can also hear her trumping, so I'm waiting for that to hit. But
thanks for warning me.
Yeah. There's forewarning. It wasn't me. So she was definitely used for breeding. I think perhaps maybe that was her first home, which is really sad because, and again, with regards to puppies and puppy farms, it's something that I'm so anti now and would always try and encourage people to rescue where possible. But I think particularly with Frenchies, they have been bred so much so that they have very flat faces, they're not very well put together, they have a lot of health problems. And I think this is why charities like Floof are so inundated. I'm still part of the charity, I still follow them. They can't catch a break. Every day people are having to give up their Frenchies because they've got behavioural problems or because they've got health problems that people can't afford to maintain. So she was used for breeding, and then I think once she had been done with in that capacity, she was then rehomed to somebody who I just don't think had the time and the finances to commit. She actually had a younger sister who went to a different home, who was really, really like, the charity said that Ruby was happy to be on her own. I think if anything, she loves the main character energy. And her sister was much younger, and she looked a little bit, I think because she was maybe 2 or 3, she obviously had so much energy. And when we went to this home to pick her up, it wasn't the house of the people who had her before. But you could just tell that she was just desperate to be walked and played with, and she had so much energy. Yeah. So I think that's maybe where the struggle had started with this other. I don't think it had necessarily, or I certainly hope it hadn't been a position of being mistreated, but it had just been a position of maybe not being loved quite as much as she needed to.
And that's what you said you don't know too much.
Yeah.
But was there any kind of mistreatment, but you're not sure?
I'm not sure. And also she is so gentle and so kind and never reactive. She's never even growled at a dog. I don't even know if she can growl. So that tells me that hopefully she can't have been, or if she can have been, she is an actual saint.
Yeah, there's usually signs, like there might be scared of children. Definitely. Or men or vans, women.
Lorries. 100%. And we had experiences of that when we had first started to reach out with some charities. We'd fostered a couple of other dogs and we had seen that behaviour. And we knew that we couldn't handle it. We didn't have the experience to handle it. We didn't have the time to handle it. We also lived right opposite a really busy park with school children and with loads of other dogs. So we knew that we needed a dog that worked for us, but also so that we weren't putting a dog into an unnecessarily stressful situation. She is just...
She's great. She's so chill. I love the fact that you said you knew you couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And... doing the fostering first before you committed to actually adopting a dog and rehoming officially is a really good idea.
Yeah, definitely. Would recommend that to anyone.
Because you really have to understand yourself as well as a person and understand what you can cope with and what you can't cope with.
Yeah, and I think that's where putting it into the charities for them to make the decision what the right dog is for you is a really, really good thing to do, because ultimately they are going to always act with what is in the best interest of that animal. I also think, Jake and I, my husband, we both put down that we would ideally prefer a puppy or a young dog. Of course we did. You want to have that dog for the rest of your life. It's all you're thinking about. But actually, a 7-year-old was perfect. She was already calm. She was already largely toilet trained. We'll not go there. But yeah, I see so many dogs, particularly a lot of other Frenchies out and about, and they're like, they've got so much energy, and you can tell that the owners are a little bit overwhelmed and stressed, and they're going, oh, she's so calm. How have you got her like that? And I say, well, for us, she's always been like that, and I think this is a hindsight thing. In hindsight, that was perfect. We both have really busy lives. We have really busy jobs. We have so much going on. We don't have the time to puppy train and to toilet train and to try and cut. We also don't have time to walk a dog 2 hours a day some days. So I think it's about knowing yourself and making that decision, which is easier said than done when you've got this little bundle of puppy that you're being, shown.
The puppies do get you. But one of the biggest things that really stuck out for me, because this is something I've been thinking about, is specifically adopting and rescuing French Bulldogs. And I'm very passionate. We've both hit the jackpot with our Frenchies. Look at them.
I know.
They're just like settled and chilled. But, Chubbs is 9.
Do not be fooled. Yeah, this isn't always the case.
And exactly. And this is not typically Frenchie breed behaviour.
Older Frenchie breed
This is older,
behaviour.
older Frenchie. But I love the fact that you adopted, rescued Ruby at the age of 7. And as you said, most people are looking for that puppy energy. And I understand it, and I'm not criticising it at all. But Frenchies are a very specific breed.
Very.
In how you have to look after them.
Yeah.
They're not like every other dog.
Yeah.
Obviously they're brachy breeds, and that comes with its own complications. But also the things that we have to do in terms of adaptation for the summer months. The maintenance of a French Bulldog is very, very high.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd put it at 10.
Chubbs, you're such a diva.
I mean, just their wrinkle maintenance through to their paws and all the things that they can get. That's just on an external point of view.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot. They cost a lot to insure. Definitely.
And I think this is why so many of them come up to rescue, because people get to the point where they can't afford to care for them in the way that they, a lot of them need surgery on their noses now. Is it called Boas? I think, I mean, Ruby's 12. She's going to be 13 this year. She's got some sort of spinal issue, something with her back legs. Not 100% sure exactly what's going on with it, where her back legs now kind of drag on the floor. And she's so unsteady on her back feet. And it's a real shame, because other than that, she's really fit and healthy and she's got energy. And so you can see her really wanting to run around. We're toying with do we, don't we look at wheels. But, you see some dogs with back wheels because their back legs are going. We're not quite there with that yet. At the moment, she can still get about a bit. We have little boots that we have to put on her. But the amount of time and money that we have, it's... As a dog ages, I guess this goes for any dog and any breed in any situation, it becomes a different type of care. No, I don't have to walk her for 2 hours a day, but I do have to be almost one step ahead of the game always she's a little bit incontinent now. Like, I need to try and encourage some sort of bowel movement out of this dog sometimes, as stupid as it sounds.
Well, that was what I was going to get to, is as senior dogs. So I'm getting to that stage now. So Chubbs is 9.
Yeah.
He's still thinks he's, 2.
Yeah.
He's got,
don't we all?
Yeah. He's Peter Pan. He never wants to grow up.
Baby.
But I definitely see that slowing down.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you haven't had Ruby since she was a young pup. And so you haven't seen that kind of transition. But what are you seeing at the moment that really sticks out?
So, to be honest, I don't know whether she got a new lease of life when she came to us, or whether she just has always been a bit of a spring chicken. Part of me hopes that because we didn't have loads of information about her, we don't have an exact birth date. So I always think that one day a vet's going to go, oh no, you do know she's only 10 now. That she's not actually 12, but I don't know.
Have you made up a birthday for her?
We sort of knew roughly. So yeah, we go with roughly November the 8th.
Okay.
Yeah, something
Scorpio.
about that day. Yeah.
Is she a Scorpio?
Sure. So we had a sad situation a couple of years ago where it felt like all of a sudden, it was probably a year to 18 months, all of a sudden her legs just seemed to, that seemed to kind of happen overnight. And I remember being on a walk with her, with my husband, and I was behind. Normally I kind of hang back with her. She's always been a slow, sniffy dog that goes at her own pace and does her own thing. Jake, my husband, is off in front walking, and I always sort of hang back with her. But for whatever reason, it was the other way around. And watching her walk from behind and seeing how wobbly she was, and her legs all of a sudden going, I'd burst into tears because I was like, oh my God, this dog is not very well now. And this has happened so quickly. And in my mind, it was, well, she's going to die. You know, this is the end of her life now. And I was so sad about it. And a friend of mine is a vet. And she's so matter of fact. I think you must have to be. She's obviously still got emotion towards animals, but dealing with it day in, day out, she will become far more pragmatic.
Definitely.
So I took Ruby to see, well, I call her Auntie Nat because she's just a friend of mine.
Shout out to Auntie Nat.
Shout out Auntie Nat. Sorry for all the bumhole photos I've sent you of the dog, not me.
I'm glad you cleared that up.
Had to clarify. Yeah, definitely not my bottom. So I went to see her and she was just so like, yeah, okay, well, this has happened. You know, it's probably going to get a little bit worse now. You'll just have to get on with it. You have to deal with it. She's all right though, isn't she? She's happy. And I was a bit like, oh, I was ready for her to say, okay, we probably need to start thinking about having a account. Dare I say it?
Yeah.
So I went in absolutely braced for the worst. And yet she's right as rain, happy to have a gravy bone. And I think actually in time, realising that she's right as rain. It's really heartbreaking to watch. And my stomach is in my mouth whenever I see her. And, you know, then I go to my parents and they go, oh, look at her. And yes, it's sad. And people comment on the boots and things like that. But she's not bothered.
Yeah, she's happy.
She's happy. So
that's the thing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Ruby's happiness.
Okay.
At what point when she came home to her new forever home, did you think she feels safe, she feels happy, she's definitely settled in now?
Do you know, really, really early on, I think, even like in the car journey on the way home, I sat in the back with her and she like got herself on me and and I remember we were stuck in really bad traffic. There must have been an accident. It took us hours to get home. So my husband at one point turned around and took a photo. And I've got this photo of this. I mean, she looks scared. Now I know her. Her face looks scared. But she was finding some sort of comfort on me and in me, which was really sweet. So we were kind of cuddling on the way home. And then again, because that was such an exciting phase, I guess it's like having a newborn baby. We have so many photos and videos of her at that time. And when I look back at them, we're like asleep on the sofa, really cuddling. And which is funny because she's actually not a particularly cuddly dog now. But she obviously felt so comfortable and really comforted from that human touch and that human interaction, which she potentially maybe didn't have in her other home. I don't know.
She knew. She knew that you were her people.
I know.
That's
I think
really
so.
sweet.
And we tried all the various things. The charity said she was crate trained. She was not crate trained. She hated that crate.
Frenchies. I don't know a Frenchie yet that ever stays in the crate.
I know. And look, I didn't want to put the dog in a cage. That's not the way I was seeing it. But you read so much about how it can be a safe space for them. It can be a really comfortable space for them. So that's what I tried to make it know. So I think once we sort of found what she liked, what she didn't like, we tried her upstairs, we tried her down. We wanted her to sleep downstairs, ideally. She ended up sleeping. There was like one piece of furniture in our last house that we really splurged on, and it was our sofa in the lounge. Of course, that's what ended up being her bed. So we always used to say she got the most expensive dog bed in the world. So yeah, once we got into that routine of her falling asleep on a night, on that sofa and sleeping through the night, and we'd go in the morning and she'd just be so snuggy and comfy and cozy, and I think she just felt very at home very soon, which was magical. I'm
so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
That she knew it was just the perfect fit from the beginning.
Yeah, I think it really was. And I also do think that, the fact we were in the pandemic really helped, which I think is a weird kind of symbolism, isn't it? That we all just need to slow the hell down a little bit in life.
Literally pause for thought.
Pause for thought, yeah. Definitely. And particularly when you do take on something as huge as getting a puppy and getting a dog. And I know that you need to make them work in your life, and absolutely there's a lot to be said for that. But also remember that whatever they've gone through, whether they're a puppy or an older dog, it's such a huge, terrifying upheaval for them to have been moved into that situation with complete strangers. And I think the charity were brilliant as well at checking in all the time and making sure that anything that happened, really, we had an answer for, and we had just somebody to help us with. But
to kind of guide you through the process, but support you once it's happening as well.
Yeah, but no, it was very, very early on. Very early on. I mean, look how chilled she's now.
Yeah, she's super chilled.
I know.
So in terms of the charity, just in general, because I have heard kind of so many different versions of charities. Just getting rescue dogs for some people is really difficult. Just to be qualified to be an actual suitable candidate.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that process.
Yeah, but I think rightly so. I think everybody should be vetted for getting a pet.
Absolutely.
It's madness that you can go and just buy a puppy and nobody's checked what your garden's like and or like what your routine is like or anything about you really. So I think the rigorous process that you have to go through for a charity is absolutely suitable.
How long was it, the actual process?
To be honest, I seem to think it was... So we had it for a couple of charities. I think it was only a couple of weeks. It was, an initial application form and then a phone call. And then I seem to think for one or two, they came out and did look round our house and ask us questions and sort of chat to us a little bit about our experiences with dogs. But then with Floof, there must have been the initial murmurs of lockdown, or maybe it was happening in Italy. It was definitely on the news. So I think they had started to do a virtual thing. So I think I sent them a video of the house or something explaining everything. But yeah, again, it was phone calls, it was messages. There was quite a lot that went into it.
Okay. A vigorous process.
Yeah, but again,
it needs to be.
It should be.
What are your thoughts on everyone having a license before they even have a dog?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer. It's such a huge responsibility, and you're looking after life. You're literally looking after an animal.
I mean, personally, I really think it should be introduced. I know it might not be in a popular opinion, but I think before you have a dog, you should know the basics.
You should know the basics.
You're caring for a life, literally a living being. You should know the basics.
And also, a little bit about the costs, and those sorts of things are difficult. You don't fully ever know how much things are going to end up costing you. But I've seen friends in situations where they've ended up with a young puppy or dog that's barely one, and they've got so many health complications and they're panicking. They were thinking, oh, well, I'll start putting a few bits and bobs into savings when they turn 5 or whatever. Well, you just never know what's going to happen.
Look at me, I'm like, no.
I know.
After having a French Bulldog, we're not waiting.
No.
Straight away. Yeah. Now, within a year of having Chubbs, that's when I was like, okay. I got insurance straight away.
Yeah.
And again, insurance is one of those controversial subjects, but I'll leave that for another time.
Yeah.
But it's always worked out for me.
Yes. Well, same actually. And we've had to claim all sorts of different insurances, travel insurance, home insurance. We've had the whole shebang wedding insurance, we've dealt with everything. And actually our experience with pet insurance is the best, really. It goes through, there's this whole portal thing, which is very clever, and the vets sort it out for you more often than not. And I think I was expecting when I first put a claim in for pet insurance, it to be this really arduous process, like when you put in a claim for car insurance or whatever. And it wasn't. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the issue. Yeah, the money will be in your bank within a couple of weeks. And it was dead straightforward. So best money we've ever spent personally on pet insurance. But again, when we first rescued, I think we ended up you get like 2 weeks free through the charity. And then you're sort of encouraged. So I don't know how it is. I can't imagine this is the case if you're buying a puppy. It doesn't come with anything, whereas that almost like set the ball off rolling. Right, okay, you're rescuing a dog. You get the first, I can't remember what it was now. Maybe it was even 2 months free, which is brill. And then you're in. They've already got your email address. That it makes sense to continue it. So I think in terms of the process, just for rescuing versus buying, being far more geared towards protecting the dog is brilliant.
Yeah. And that is something that is really important.
Yeah.
There are a lot of, I will say, people that are out there that have all the best intentions, but the reality of having dogs, this is why rescues are inundated all the time. And unfortunately, the breeds that we have, Frenchies, are one of the number one dogs that are being abandoned and need to be rehomed.
Yeah, because they're cute and
they're popular.
But also they're really sassy, and God love them, but they're really stupid. They're not easy to train.
Well, I have to say, I've definitely hit the jackpot there with Chubby, because he's really intelligent.
He's really intelligent, Chubbs.
He is. He's a very intelligent boy. If you spend a couple of hours with him.
Really?
I think I think I'm maybe being like one of those dog momagers.
Crazy dog mom, yeah.
I've got the most intelligent Frenchie on the planet. But tell me a little bit about your home routine. So what does an average day look like with you and Ruby?
Oh dear. This is where our life is not brilliant at the minute, because we don't have a particularly structured life, to be honest. My job is here, there and everywhere. No 2 days the same. My husband is away a bit in the week as well, so we have brilliant dog sitters that come and stay in our house, so that whenever we're away, she has all of these aunties and uncles that she
beautiful.
loves.
Yeah,
so that's nice. And I think as much as possible, we just try and keep it chill for her. She's like nearly 13. She just wants to sleep and chill out. And this is where sometimes I feel bad, because she really just wants to sit. She wants this. This is exactly what this dog would do all day. She's not really that arsed about sitting on me, but she wants to be near me. She wants to be able to see me. And she wants me to just sit down and do nothing. And that's where I do feel bad, because...
So that guilt hits you.
I have dog mum guilt all the time.
We all do. It's terrible.
I know. But yeah, I mean, more often than not, it is... after 8 years of 3 a.m. alarms, I try to have slower mornings now. So, and she loves a lion, so she does sleep with us now. We moved house about 4 years ago, and it was a relatively big renovation job, so we didn't feel it was appropriate for her to be downstairs in that house. So we made the fatal mistake of bringing her into the bed, and we haven't slept since.
Yeah, I was about to say, Frenchies are the worst sleepers on the planet. Do you have like a tiny portion of the bed and she has the majority?
She has the majority. She makes so much noise. She snorts. She licks. She digs in her bed in the middle of the night. It's a nightmare. But also...
it's cute.
It's cute. And like, my husband always says he takes a lot of comfort in, like, at the end of the day, as a family, we're all in this one little room together in bed. So I know what he means. But,
I love that. I really do. Chubbs has always slept on my bed.
Oh, really? Ever since he was a pup?
Yeah.
Oh.
He owns it.
Does he?
Yeah. If anyone else is on there, he looks at them like, can you get off my bed, please? I'm about to lay down.
Oh, no.
But Chubbs, the space. Doesn't matter. I'm not on there first. Then you can come on. Yeah. He's a little bit alpha like that.
Okay. Fatal mistake. Yeah. I mean, she's not territorial. We once had a absolutely bizarre situation, which ended up being nothing. But my husband collapsed in the bathroom in the middle of the night. I know, terrifying. So I ended up ringing an ambulance because it was all just a bit chaotic. It turned out that he went, FYI, if anybody's tall listening to this, he's like 6'3", and he went for a wee in the night, stood up as men do, and his blood pressure dropped apparently, and he just collapsed. So I mean, I thought he was dying, and he wasn't. He was just having a wee. So anyway,
that is such a bizarre one.
Do you know what? You know when you're just like, well, how is this even my life? So yeah, but the paramedics came into the bedroom, and it was all chaotic. Our pajamas, whatever. She's sound asleep. Didn't even bark at these guys in our bedroom.
Oh wow!
And because I was like, oh, the dog, you know, and she didn't even barely batted an eyelid. I just thought, you're not the best security dog, are you? But it was funny. And then off the paramedics go. Yeah, his blood pressure dropped, but he's fine now. See you later. I was like, right, okay.
What a night!
What a night! But also how this shows how not territorial she is. And I don't think she's particularly loyal, to be honest. Like my parents, she adores my parents. She would live at their house and never see me again in a heartbeat.
But that's also good. It means that she's got all these people that she trusts so much.
She does trust, and I think that is what I love about her. But what also maybe makes me a bit sad, because I think was that trust taken advantage of in previous homes, maybe. But yeah, she really is an absolute joy. She's very, like I say, very chilled. We'll maybe go for a walk a few times a week, depending on the weather. She's a fair weather trotter. She really doesn't like going out in any form of rain or wind or anything.
Well, I was going to ask, as a weather reporter, is it a weather girl, a weather reporter? What do you call yourself?
Presenter.
Weather presenter. The Rain and Ruby, I am sure, do not get along.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. I mean, I can kind of relate, but yeah, I remember when we'd not had her that long and it was a horrible day in the old house, and we set our alarms. We used to maybe take her on a 40-minute to an hour's walk a day when we first got her, and she did on the whole love that. And one morning we set our alarm, right, we better take her out in the morning because we've got busy days. Wellies on, raincoats on, umbrella. Opened the door. She just took one look at the weather and refused to leave the house.
You got all dressed up for nothing.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh.
I know.
Frenchies will not walk in the rain.
She's so stubborn. And now, obviously, she doesn't need a lot anyway. Like we're very lucky that we live rurally now, so we have a little bit of land next to our house as well. And so when the dog sitters come, I say, don't bother taking her out. You know, it's too much faff with her little boots and everything, and it's too specific. I feel like mother's intuition, I can sense when she's not feeling it, when she's not having a great day. So they can just poodle around whatever, feels they want, and maybe take a ball and try and encourage her to just do wheeze and poos there. But she doesn't need a lot of exercise.
No, and Frenchies in general don't.
No.
Even when they're younger.
Yeah.
Now, going through this journey with Ruby, what has been the most rewarding part of it so far?
I think because before we got the dog and before the pandemic, to be honest, if we weren't on a plane, we weren't going on our holidays. That was our upbringing. You know, if we weren't in Spain, we weren't on holiday. And so through the pandemic, we were forced to look at maybe holidaying in the UK a little bit. And then also we realised that the bonus of that is that we get to take the dog with us. So I know this sounds totally stupid, but I feel so proud of the fact that we've shown her the world. We've taken her to Wales and we've taken her to the Cotswolds and we've taken her to Scotland, and she probably hated it all, but
no,
I just feel
she's loved it all. I promise you. Yeah,
she's probably done it all before. Who knows? She probably had, I don't know, the best life before us. Who knows? But I just feel like we have shown her and given her opportunities that she wouldn't have had had it not been with us. And you know, yes, we've been busy over the last few years and we haven't necessarily been sat on the sofa with her day in, day out. But I do think we've given her a really lovely life. I think we've given her nice homes, lots of, you know, we've both got families who all love her. Lots of other people love her. I've got a sister who has nieces. They absolutely adore her. That's a really cute and special relationship. So I think we have given her a lot of love and a lot of other people who love her. And she has been our baby. We don't have children. She's been our main priority really in the last few years. So I feel very proud that we've been able to give her that, because she's such, I know everybody thinks their dog is amazing, but everybody that meets her says
I agree. And I'm very honest.
Special. Yeah.
And I see a lot of dogs and she's very chilled.
She's so chilled.
You're making a little appearance there,
no,
Rubes.
she's like, get away from me.
She's like, Mum, you're talking about me all this time. Just give me a bit of space now. I'm going to move down. She wants to settle into that.
She wants that corner.
She wants that corner.
Yeah, she loves the corner.
So we rescue dogs, but really I believe dogs rescue us.
Definitely, yeah.
In what way has Ruby rescued you on a personal level?
Oh, good question. That's a deep one. Do you know what? My husband is so in touch with his emotions, and he's a very loving person. He comes from that kind of family where everything was everybody was tactile, everything was love you, and my family aren't like that. I grew up with in a really loving household, but we were just all mates. That's very much, you know, it went without saying we loved each other, so we never used to say it. And I know this sounds really bonkers, but I feel like she has brought that loving side out in me. I'm not a maternal person. I don't know if I want children. I don't think I want children really. But having her as my baby, it's stupid as it sounds and seems.
No, honestly.
Yeah.
We relate. You're a dog mum.
I know. It's a different kind of thing, isn't it? And so, yeah, I feel like she's brought that side out in me, that loving side, that caring side, the emotions, the responsibility as well. She's just an absolute character.
So you feel like she's helped you connect to yourself and bring out I won't use the word guarded, but almost like opened you up.
Yeah, I think so. I think she has kind of maybe knocked down a few of my walls. And, you know, I knew I always wanted a dog in my life. Like I say, had never ever thought of rescuing before seeing our neighbours' dogs. So they did it in the first instance. They showed, you know, that they opened that door to me. Now that our first dog, I feel very proud of the fact that we all of our other friends pretty much just went straight in and got puppies. And I feel really proud that we didn't, and that we waited, and that we went through the process, and we have ended up rescuing an older dog and giving her an amazing life. So there's definitely a level of pride there as well. But also now both my husband and I have said, this is how we're going to do it going forward. You know,
that was my next question.
Yeah, we will only ever rescue dogs.
Okay, yeah. So you wouldn't ever look at the other way, maybe one of each, or is it
possibly
just rescuing?
I don't want to say, you know, I never say never. And I'm also aware of the fact that it's not always this straightforward. Having had experiences with fostering in the past, there's a lot of dogs that need homes that, like I say, need a real specific level of care. And if we were to find ourselves in a situation where we had that tumultuous relationship, or whether a dog came into our life and it was more stressful, then we might be tempted to try the other thing. I just really, really struggle with knowing. Now that I've dipped my toe and I have, you know, subscribed to a few of the charities' newsletters and I follow them on social media, you're fed that information, you're reminded of that information daily, how many dogs need homes. just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It really breaks my heart.
It changes your perspective.
I actually don't know if I would sleep at night knowing that these little creatures need loving, and that I'm not doing that to go new. And you would hope that if more and more people did that, then society naturally shifts and breeders realise that they don't need to breed because there's not as much demand for the puppies. And I don't know, maybe that's me being naive.
No, I am definitely in the same school of thought with you, because now, particularly with a breed like a Frenchie, I think to myself, I don't think I could get a Frenchie puppy unless it was a rescue.
You're kind of feeding the problem. There is a problem.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. We've said maybe a dog like a golden retriever or a working cocker or something like that. That's where I can maybe get my head around the puppy or a crossbreed, which actually are healthier because they're not bred to be a specific thing. So maybe something like that, but I could never, as much as I love a bulldog, I love a Frenchie, I love an English bulldog, I couldn't feed the problem any more than it already is.
I completely understand, and I get you. And it's something that I go back in my mind all the time with. It's about the ethical side of everything.
Yeah, it is.
And when you see and you live, I mean, Chubbs has had his fair share of health issues.
Yeah.
And that would be my reason.
Yeah.
One of my biggest reasons that actually I'm probably one of the most qualified people now to look after a French Bulldog.
Yeah.
From diet through to just, everything, understanding what those risks are.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be selfish of me not to rescue Frenchies at this point? And I will say it, I really do think I'm one of the most qualified people. If you knew Chubbs' history, even now, he's got a very complicated case that only 1% of dogs ever get.
Yeah.
And the learning and the knowledge, I'm like, I have to use that.
You do. Because I'm in all these Facebook groups now, I'm in these WhatsApp groups, whatever. And the amount of people that are just desperate for answers, they're frantic, this is happening, and I find myself doing that sometimes with the back legs. This is happening with Ruby. Has anybody had any experience of that? That experience is so valuable for peace of mind.
It really is.
The amount of money you waste going to the vets and not getting the right answer.
I know.
And it's nothing on the vets. Obviously, they're trying their best and they're doing what they can, but ultimately, every single time you go and it might be that, you still pay for the might.
Absolutely. you go on a merry-go-round.
No win, no fee.
If it was no win, no fee, I'd be there all the time.
I know.
But I think when I say that qualified, it's based on my experience. And obviously, I'm not a vet. And disclaimer, not a vet.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually just having lived experience, little cues, things that I can see that are not quite right.
Yeah.
It's really important that you use your experience for good.
Yeah, definitely.
With dogs, definitely.
And, every single dog is different and every single day is different. Every day you're just kind of sussing stuff out. Like I always joke, Ruby's got loads of lumps and bumps. She always has had. We don't know what's a wart and what's the nipple, God love her. But I feel like I know every lump and bump and everything's been checked and, that's a cyst and that's this and don't worry, that's the scar from that. I just know it all. And we'd been out for a walk last summer time and I'm tickling her away and giving her a really good feel. And all of a sudden I felt a little tiny tag on her back that I hadn't recognised before. I'm there like with my iPhone, getting the camera, getting a photo of it, sending it to Auntie Nat.
You should see my camera reel.
Same, mate.
Chubbs' ailment and then him smiling.
Yeah. Don't worry, false alarm. She's fine. And I said, I can't remember if Jake was away or whether he was in the house, but took a photo of this thing. That's a really good way to get proper zoomed in, get a photo with the flash. And I was like, I've no experience of ever seeing one, but that to me looks like it could be a tick. And then I'm Googling it and could it be whatever? And it was. And my husband was like, oh my God, I would never have spotted it, felt it, known what it would have looked like.
Yeah.
Also, she takes this thing called a next guard, which is just anti-everything. So took her straight to the vets to get the tick removed. And the vet said, interestingly enough, it's already dead because of the fact that she has this next guard.
Okay.
So it kind of killed it before it managed to do anything. And when you just think, that pat on the back of good dog mum.
Yes.
And Jake was like, oh God, I feel bad because I wouldn't have done that. And I didn't know that. And I didn't even know she takes the next guard. And I said, it's all right. Like it's mental load, but it does just make you go, okay.
Definitely.
I didn't go to school for this, but I kind of know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And I think one of the big pieces of advice, so a lot of people ring me up when they get new dogs and what should I be doing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is why the podcast is born. So you can listen to it instead. But one of the biggest pieces of advice I always give, understand your dog's norm.
Yeah.
Understand their baseline
Yeah,
first.
definitely.
Check their bodies. I know that Chubbs has 9 nipples.
Yeah.
And they're not all in the same line.
We know their bodies better than we know our own.
I know.
I'm like, oh, what's that on my leg?
I know he's got a wonk. He's got his little underbite.
Oh.
I know that he's got like little lumps here and there.
Yeah.
He's got allergies, so his skin looks like this.
Yeah.
So as soon as something is not quite right, you know immediately. Just like you knew with the tick.
Yeah, you do.
So really get to know, because sometimes finding a lump can be, and getting it investigated, a lot of the time is the difference between their survival.
Definitely, yeah.
You need to act quickly.
Yeah. And there was a situation not that long ago, actually, where the way Ruby was sat, it looked like there was this huge growth on her stomach, and I freaked out. Took a photo of it. Showed Jake. He sort of had a feel around as well, and we were how on earth have we missed this? This can't have happened overnight. And it was a real panicked situation. Rang the vets, need to come immediately. Got this massive lump, and when we got her there, it was just her little fat saggy belly that had just so happened to have fallen a certain way, and the vet was really feeling around, giving it. And I really can't find anything. I'm going, but look at the photo, and she zoomed in. And she said, I think that might just be.
It's just her belly.
It's just a saggy little old lady belly. I was like, okay, cool. Here's 60 quid. Thank you for that.
Well, again, not going to go on to the vet thing today. So what advice would you give to anybody, even like myself, that's thinking about rescuing dogs in the future?
Okay.
What would be your biggest pieces of advice?
Okay, so I feel like I'm a very good person to speak to about this, because we went through a bit of the ringer with, like I say, with the fostering process and with various different charities. Research the charity, really speak to the people that work at the charity, find out the size of it, maybe even try and speak to somebody who's used that charity in the past. If recommendations go a long way, I think, in that. I would 110% recommend Floof. They have been brilliant the whole time. They were brilliant in the whole process. I love that they match you with the dog as opposed to the other way around. If I could recommend that process to anybody, then that is how I would definitely do it. As opposed to you saying, oh, that one's cute, I like that one. We didn't even know what she looked like before we got her. We knew she was her age, and we knew that she was a she, and that was it. And
I love that.
Yeah, and how lucky, because she's stunning. We got so lucky there. But again, I think the charity know. The grey ones will get loads of attention. The fawn ones will get loads of attention. The ones with the slightly longer legs might not, whatever it may be. And that isn't, if you're rescuing a dog, you're rescuing a dog.
That's
Don't matter what
priority.
That dog looks like. Yeah. So in terms of like the core values of that charity, brilliant. In terms of process, like aftercare, brilliant. Everything brilliant. And what's interesting about that charity is that they don't have a HQ. It's not like the Dogs Trust where you go and you can see them and it's that, human interaction. It's all done virtually to keep costs down and to keep the process streamlined, but it really works. Whereas we did have an experience with a much, much smaller charity. And I won't name the charity, because I also don't necessarily, I think their heart is in the right place with what they were doing. But I just think they didn't maybe have the, it's a difficult one. I also think that they did have the best interests at heart. I think, unfortunately, when people were ringing them up to say, I'm going to give my dog up for adoption, I can't look after this dog anymore, they were taking what they were saying at face value. So somebody's on the phone saying, I've got this 4-year-old dog. It's not aggressive. It's really friendly. Just don't want it anymore. Doesn't work with my life. But other than that, it's really good. So then they're putting this dog on their website saying, this dog's really friendly, good with kids, good with cats. No experience whatsoever of whether that's true. They've not vetted that dog themselves at all. So then, we had this situation where we ended up fostering this dog that was not as the description at all. And that, again, is where it's not fair on us, but it's not fair on the dog. It's a really big upheaval for them to be put in a home with somebody. The emotional connection that, as dog lovers, you make with that animal straight away, it was honestly one of the most traumatic things I've ever gone through. And I realised how fortunate I am to say that. But to realise that you're not right for the dog and the dog's not right for you, it feels like you're letting the dog down by not being able to keep it. And naturally, it forms a bond with you and you form a bond with it, but it's not fair. It's not fair on everybody involved. So I think, research the charity, talk to the charity, find out what their processes are, find out what their aftercare is. it's absolutely not about finding the right dog yourself. It's about finding the right people who know the right dog for you, I think.
Sure. What about the preparation? Any advice in terms of preparation to bring your rescue home?
I mean, to be honest, like I say, it all happened very quickly for us. So I don't feel like we were particularly prepared in that respect.
What would you have done differently?
It's really difficult because it obviously has worked out wonderfully for us. And the process can be really long. So I wouldn't want to say buy the bowl, buy the bed, buy the lead.
Yeah,
if then 6 months later you're still looking at these items feeling really sad, maybe a few poo bags wouldn't go amiss. But do you know what?
Yeah.
If somebody is thinking of rescuing and they don't already have a dog, Borrow My Doggy is brilliant. Or friends that have dogs, offer to look after them. We did the same. Our friends have a spaniel. It's gorgeous, but it is mental. And after 24 hours of looking after that dog, I knew that we were not cut
Having
out
a spaniel.
for a dog like that.
For a spaniel.
Yeah, exactly.
You definitely need to get the right dog for you.
You do. And the only way you're going to suss that out is by giving it a go. Is by looking after dogs, finding out what works for you, what doesn't work for you, how strong you are.
Yeah. What about emotionally preparing? Now that you've gone through the process, what do you think the best emotional preparation for bringing home a rescue dog would be?
Oof, again, that's really hard because I don't know if... Do you know what I will say, actually? I wish... This is going to sound absolutely awful, but I'm going to be totally honest now. So because we had the experiences of fostering, and I feel like I fell hook, line and sinker for the dogs, for the foster situation, because it was the first time, and we wanted it to work so much. We really wanted it to work. And it didn't. And that broke our hearts. It really did. It was the saddest experience ever to say, this actually isn't right. So then it wasn't a long wait really between the foster failing and Ruby coming available. And I think I expected her to come into our house and to immediately fall again really hard. And I didn't. And I knew my husband didn't. And she was beautiful and she was lovely and she was everything that we thought we wanted. And yet we weren't immediately obsessed with her. And I know that sounds absolutely awful.
No,
but
it doesn't.
An emotional connection and a bond is going to take time to form and build. So I would say don't panic if you're not immediately in love with that dog, which I feel awful for saying it because she's my world now. But it wasn't immediate love. It was sussing each other out. And it was also having gone through this crazy emotional roller coaster in the few months leading up to it with fosters and failed fosters and whatever. Then I think emotionally I wasn't at a very good, stable point anyway.
Okay.
So, but I think I beat myself up about that at the time, and I wish I hadn't, because look how much we love each other now. And you know that you never. It's almost like people say love at first sight in a relationship. Again, how many people actually feel love at first sight?
Red flag.
Jumping.
It's usually a red flag. So.
It is a red flag because it's love bombing. It's not real. It's lust, isn't it?
No.
So I would say don't expect it to be immediate. Expect, in the same way that people will get puppies and 2 weeks in will be going, what the hell have I done?
Right.
There will be those doubts. I'm sure that there will be those doubts. But trust the process. Look, like the relationship will blossom as you get to know each other, and it will be the best thing that you ever did. But don't expect it necessarily to be
fireworks in the beginning and like you're kind of like hearting Ruby's name and all over the walls.
Yeah, I knew she was gorgeous. I'm speaking to my parents on FaceTime. We knew it was right. It just was that still that, like I say, I think because we'd had this situation where we really did feel like we loved this other dog, and then we had to go through the heartbreak of it not working out.
Yeah.
Maybe my guard was up. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think what I'm getting from what you're saying here is fostering actually emotionally helped you prepare.
Probably. Because it meant that I wasn't straight away head over heels, this is going to be the best thing ever. I was a little bit guarded and thinking, okay, well, let's just, see how this goes over the next few weeks. I mean, I think the charity said, if you're going to change her name, don't do it straight away, because that can be quite complicated and confusing for a dog as well. And also, they said, if we want to know it's for sure, so, only 110% agree to her, then change her name.
Makes sense.
It does make sense. Of course it does. But after a week or so, we knew. We absolutely loved this dog so much within a week. And we just knew she was perfect. She was gentle. She was kind. And so we did change her name because we knew. And we sent the charity a video with her new name. And they sent back the contract straight away and said, "Oh, great to see it's worked."
Yeah,
I was like,
you've changed the name. She's yours now.
She's yours. Yeah. I mean, her name beforehand was Paris. So there was no way I could have kept Paris.
Yeah, she's giving me Ruby.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely not Paris. So, Abbie, what does a dog parent really mean to you?
Oh, my word. I think a dog parent, probably much like a human baby parent, is a mixture of emotions. It is absolutely the best thing in the world, the most rewarding thing in the world. There is nothing better than coming home every single day. It doesn't matter if you've been gone for 2 minutes, 2 hours or 2 days. She is just as excited to see you. And nobody can feel really sad when you're met with that kind of response. But on the flip side with that, you also are pushed to your limits. You are tested emotionally, sometimes physically. You have challenging days. There are times when it's inconvenient. You're trying to book a holiday. There's no dog sitters. She's pooing in the garden or doing whatever or barking while I'm trying to do a weather forecast at home. It's not always plain sailing, but the perks so far outweigh the disadvantages. And she has brought so much joy to our lives that you cannot explain to somebody that doesn't have a dog. You just can't put it into words.
No, I'm smiling because I get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, Chubbs, behave.
Yeah.
Like, it could be the most inconvenient time.
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment, nobody knows what we're talking about because they're absolutely as good as gold. Look at them.
Maybe she's a full-time podcaster and I don't even know it.
Yeah. This is the best Chubbs has been for the last podcast, he was trying to actually eat the mic.
Really?
So he's been really good. I think
this is Ruby's energy, so maybe it's kind of passing on.
I think so. It's
she's sharing the chill
she's
vibe.
like, Chubbs, we have something to do today.
With then.
Yeah.
She's obviously the kind of alpha in this situation because she's older, so maybe she's taken control through the mind.
Definitely.
Or maybe he's just exhausted.
They're Yoda senses.
Yeah.
They kind of look like little Yodas, don't they?
I know. They make quite the pair.
They're so cute. So a few little fire questions for you and Ruby. So dry food, wet food, raw food.
She has a mix of dry and wet. No, she doesn't. Yeah, she does. She has biscuits and some soft food.
You've been experimenting and you forgot where you're at.
Yeah, no, as I was saying those words, I was thinking, what are they? Although there was one time where she stayed at my mum and dad's and my dad didn't get the memo and gave her just wet food. And I think she thought she'd hit the jackpot.
Right. Sometimes you're like, follow the instructions.
It's not rocket science, mate.
Bed, well, we've already said, I was going to say she's in the bed.
She's in her bed on our bed. So it's like double bed.
Okay.
And that feels like there's a little bit more boundary there.
Okay. So in terms of who has she picked out of you and your husband? Who's the fave?
Me.
Yeah, I can tell.
Also, he's a big man, She can't get on him as comfy as she can get on me.
She kind of snugs in.
Yeah, and I think, she does love us both, that's for sure. But yeah, we're little mates. We stick together.
Naked or clothing?
Oh, naked.
Yeah.
Occasionally a little jumper, but no, I like to keep her
naked.
Keep her nude. Yeah. She's got a great bod.
She's got a great body. You've got to show it off, indeed. Oh, Abbie, it's been absolutely a joy to have you and Ruby here today on the Dogman podcast.
We've loved it.
They've been so good.
So good.
Treats all day.
I know.
For both of them.
Do not be fooled. This is not the reality. Always.
No, they're just really comfortable. They understand the assignment today.
Yeah. They're bouncing off our energy and our energy is chill. They're also like, you're spending an hour talking about how great we are. Fine with us.
Yeah, we'll give you the floor to do so.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. I really appreciated your time and learning more about your story.
Oh, thank you.
And
me.
I love Ruby. She's so cute and I'm so glad that you've educated me some more on rescue, but in a very real, practical way. And that's been amazing.
Oh,
so,
and there's no one size fits all, I will say. So keep getting the people on because everybody will have a different experience, no doubt, of rescuing. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.